With breaking news happening now, this is a Wave News Alert.
To that Wave News Alert, a major update in the case of a Bardstown woman's disappearance. After 8 years since Crystal Rogers disappeared, her boyfriend at the time has been arrested and charged with murder. 41-year-old Brooks Houck was arrested at his Bardstown home and taken into custody this morning. The arrest comes after searches at Houck's properties, including his home, with the help of the FBI. Rogers disappeared in 2015. Her body has never been found, but she was presumed dead months after she disappeared. Houck was later named the prime suspect in her murder, but never charged with the crime until now. He is also charged with tampering with evidence, and his bail's been set at $10 million cash. Wave News reporter Olivia Russell is live right now in Nelson County with more. Olivia?
As you mentioned, Shannon, Brooks Houck was the only publicly named suspect in this case for years. And if you talk to people in Bardstown, they also pointed the fingers at him. Even this billboard right in front of the Justice Center has his name in black, bold letters. And now 8 years later, Brooks Houck has been indicted for the murder of Crystal Rogers. We've obtained this new video from this morning showing Brooks Houck being taken into custody at his home in the Copperfield subdivision. There were only a few unmarked vehicles at the scene. According to court documents, he was indicted last week on charges of murder and tampering with physical evidence, and the warrant was served this morning. This comes just a few weeks after another arrest was made in this case. Joseph Lawson facing criminal conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence charges. So really a lot has happened within the past month here. These 8 years have been filled with a lot of ups and downs, some hope for the small Bardstown community. Rogers went missing around July 3rd of 2015. The people nearby immediately started searching for her. The FBI took over the investigation in 2020. Throughout the years, they've searched properties related to Houck, but we don't know what came from the searches, if anything. This morning, I talked to the former mayor of Bardstown, Dixie Hibbs. She said everyone around town is talking about the arrest, but she knows this case is far from over.
Now, I am premature in saying the mystery's solved. This man's just been arrested. But people in this community are, I don't know if they're smiling as much as this sigh of relief that there is an answer to everyone's thought. What happened? Where is Crystal Rogers?
Even though Brooks Houck has been charged and arrested, we don't know what led investigators to him. The original indictment is sealed, and according to a statement from the FBI of Louisville, additional details could be revealed during his arraignment, and that's scheduled for October 5th. Until then, he's being held on a $10 million cash bail. Live in Bardstown, Olivia Russell, Wave News.
Thank you, Olivia. And this is a huge story. We've been following it for 8 years now. Wave News has several news crews working in Bardstown today, gathering information. Stay with us throughout the day right here for more team coverage on air, online, and our Wave News mobile app. And right now it is an alert day, so let's get over to meteorologist Brian Good to explain what we could be seeing later today.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had one of these, but certainly on guard here for maybe some stronger thunderstorms later this afternoon. The main threats we're going to be looking at will be more toward after sunset for periods of showers and storms containing just about all the threats: wind, some hail, heavy rain. Even isolated tornado can't be ruled out, but that will be the low end on the scale of worry on this type of a system. Again, this is going to be later on tonight and to the overnight time period. Now, for the midday period, we do have some light rain moving into Corydon at the moment. Get right into the radar. You can see that batch of light rain tracking right along 64. No lightning with it. It's heading right toward Louisville. In fact, if it holds its current course, it doesn't shrink anymore. It will provide for a light rain across PRP and Valley Station all the way to the Portland neighborhood as we head to the next, I would say, 15-20 minutes. Won't amount to much, but may disrupt your lunch plans. Keep that in mind. Down to the south, a few more spotty, heavier downpours. These are the ones that could contain perhaps some lightning with them as they move across areas from Grayson County over into Greene, Taylor, and Adair, and then fade out. Quiet for Indiana, quiet northeast of Louisville for now. But as we look to the west, this will be a new spot for development. I would say about 6 hours from now, this will really begin to pop. Those will be the showers and storms that will move in that will contain some of the heavier rain and perhaps even some warnings for damaging winds and hail. We need to watch that. So the main threat, and we've highlighted this in the red bars, will be mainly towards sunset through about the midnight hour. especially across central Kentucky. Areas to the north may have a lower risk for this entire setup. I'll walk you through it with much more with Futurecast coming up here again in just a few more minutes, Shannon.
All right, thanks, Brian. We do have a quick traffic alert for you this morning. I-71 south at mile marker 16.5 has a lane closure because of a crash that happened earlier today. So the left lane is closed until at least noon. They're working on repairing a cable barrier there. So if you travel in that area, expect some delays. The pedestrian who died after being hit near Sacred Heart Academy in Louisville early yesterday morning has been identified. The call came in just before 6:30 Tuesday morning about that crash on Lexington Road. The coroner has identified the woman killed while crossing Lexington near Penwood as 74-year-old Kusum Nahata. The driver of the vehicle who hit her stayed behind at the scene. Sacred Heart Academy says the crash did not involve any of their students or staff. Hard decisions coming in the future when it comes to transportation, not just at JCPS, but education as a whole. At Tuesday night's board meeting, Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio spent a lot of time detailing how the busing disaster unfolded on that first day of school and how his board hopes to improve the current system. At that meeting, Polio proposed 4 options that could potentially fix some of the problems. Option 1, transporting the nearly 16,000 magnet and traditional students using hubs. That means JCPS will take the students to school as long as they get to a hub first. That would save about 60 buses. Option 2, only transporting free and reduced lunch magnet and traditional students. That could save up to 100 buses. Option 3 would be a combination of those first 2, transporting free and reduced lunch students using the hubs again. That would free up to 110 buses. Now, option 4 is the most aggressive here, eliminating transportation to all magnet and traditional students. That would cut down on 140 routes. Polio says there is a lot to consider for every option here.
So none of these are easy answers. None of them are things that we want to do. I just think the community needs to know that, you know, the days of all students being transported to all schools is at the end of that road.
Polio said they are looking to set up something so people can give feedback online. As for an external auditor, they should have someone in the next few weeks. We're hearing directly from a bus driver about transportation issues. That includes behavior among students. Wave troubleshooter Natalia Martinez asked what happens when students fight on a bus, and she asked for the data. There were over 6,000 referrals for fighting or hitting a student or bus driver. That resulted in a little more than 2,000 suspensions. Even more when it comes to things like throwing things out windows or staying seated. Safety and what's being described as a lack of action is making many drivers frustrated.
At the end of the day, if something was to happen, it's ultimately going to fall back on us. It's not going to fall back on JCPS. It is going to be the driver.
That driver, Misty Meredith, says conditions have affected the mental health of drivers. Our troubleshooters found at least 33 drivers have quit, transferred, changed departments, or retired so far this school year. The troubleshooters also asked JCPS, what are drivers supposed to do if there's a fight on their school bus? In a statement, the district says drivers should pull over in a safe location, contact the bus compound, and tell the students to stop. The compound will call police if needed, and drivers should never put their hands on students. Drivers are not required to get into the middle of a fight, and they have the right to protect themselves by stepping back, never forward. We are a little more than a month away from when JCPS security leaders say they will start installing the first batch of weapon detectors in schools. Security leaders told school board members they should have enough officers to staff the weapon detection systems in the first high schools to get the technology this fall. The district will then eventually need to hire more officers as the systems expand to more schools after winter break. Security leaders say they're already drawing up a request to hire even more officers.
Clearly, we'll use as many of our own as we can, and we may be able to do a portion of those schools with our own. However, we will be creating an RFP this fall, so that is ready to go, and we have that process ready when we need to enact that during the spring semester.
Right now, the district has 14 school safety officers with 6 more recruits on the way. A group of Louisville lawmakers say they have an 18-step plan to make communities safer across the state. Republicans in the House Majority Caucus created this act, which includes everything from stricter penalties for repeat offenders, drug dealers, carjackers, and people charged with attempted murder. The bill also seeks to regulate bail funding organizations and establish a Kentucky State Police post in Jefferson County.
I'll just make it very clear, we by no means want Kentucky State Police on the streets of Louisville policing day to day. We want resources that can free up LMPD officers to provide that street patrol that we so desperately need in our county.
Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg has previously said putting state troopers in Louisville would take valuable resources away from smaller Kentucky counties. The Safer Kentucky Act will be filed for consideration during the 2024 regular session. Coming up on Midday, hiring already underway now for the holiday season and cold winter months. We'll tell you about some of the job opportunities and what they pay.
We're talking about cold winter months. It's more like a spring type setup here with showers, thunderstorms, temperatures back into the mid to upper 80s coming our way. A lot to cover in that 10-day early alert, and we'll do that just after the break. Stay with us.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $4.8 billion in grants and scholarships.
Modern family life means our loved ones are always on the move. But with Life 360's real-time location sharing and advanced driving safety features, you can protect and connect the people who matter most and make sure they're on time for dinner.
Safety was our #1 concern. With Life 360, you feel safe that someone else is there who can give guidance right away.
As a parent, the safety of your family should be your priority. Life 360 makes this the easy job.
And watch in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth.
Custom Ink helps us celebrate and drive our students' achievements with custom gear. They love Custom Ink's different styles and designs. We love how Custom Ink makes the process simple with their easy-to-use design lab, expert artists ready to help, and unbeatable customer service. Custom Ink allows our kids to show everyone their accomplishments and the pride they have in our school. When we place an order, I know they got our back, so we can focus on the kids.
Custom Ink has hundreds of products to help you feel connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
It's to hire more than 2,500 workers in Louisville to keep things running smoothly during the holiday season. It's going to be here before we know it. They have both full and part-time seasonal positions. They're mainly looking for package handlers. The pay starts at $21 an hour. UPS says nearly 80% of seasonal positions don't even require an interview. We have a link to apply on wave3.com. And the Indiana Department of Transportation is also getting ready for winter driving by hiring workers. They're hiring its snowplow fleet. The winter seasonal positions run from early November to early April. The pay starts at $21 an hour. Some of the jobs include highway maintenance, traffic maintenance, snow and ice removal. If you are interested, text INDOT winter to 468 311 for more information. One of the largest utility expos in North America is taking place in Louisville over the next couple of days. More than 850 exhibitors are showing off the latest and greatest heavy-duty equipment available used by the utility industry. They'll be promoting to some new products, getting workers ready for advances in the field. The Utility Expo is one of the top 10 events in Louisville for economic impact.
It's around the globe. Events like this bring people to Louisville, Kentucky, because they want to better grow and enhance their skills for the industry. For us, it brings an economic impact of around $16.4 million. That's our hotels, our restaurants, our bars, our bourbon experiences being highlighted and brought to the forefront for groups like this.
Doors to the Utility Expo opened up at 8:30 this morning, and it goes until tomorrow. So we have a lot of visitors in from out of town. Meteorologist Brian Good is here right now, and they may need to find an umbrella real quick, huh?
Yeah, they may have to lower those buckets down just a bit until the storms pass. That'll be later on tonight, especially. We could see some lightning and thunder back into the area. Here's the breakdown of how things are looking on the severe risk. First off, when we look at the fuel and how things are going to play out for us, we do have some wind shear around. That's one of the key ingredients to try to get showers and storms to maintain themselves for more than just 2 or 3 minutes at a time. In some cases, more than several minutes at a time. So that level is there, but it's on the low end of the scale, which is good. Now, there's certainly got some lift because we got that area of low pressure that is spinning right over us, helping to provide the focal point for the showers and storms. And we do have at least some instability to work with because we've been in the 80s for so long as of late, and we're going to get a few pockets of sun today to allow us to get into the lower 80s. That will be enough to add into the fuel part of things, as well as the moisture levels starting to increase as well. So not everything's like off the charts, as we say, but it's certainly on the table to where we need to watch it. So when you look at those threats and you translate it down to impacts based on the different weather elements in severe weather, tornado threat is actually the lowest of the scale. The damage and wind threat's there, but the highest is actually going to be potential for some dime-sized hail and some flash flooding in some cases because of the very hard ground that we've got. Water just rolls off of that. And if your storm drains have already got some leaves in them that have already fallen, that will clog up the drain and allow for a little more ponding of water on the road. So use caution traveling as we into later tonight and early tomorrow. The Wave Weather app, always a great tool to keep updated on the rain chances as we fine-tune these. And, of course, for the alerts you're going to get for any weather elements that pass through the area. You can download the app, easy to do. Just scan that QR code, and it is all yours. You see it in the red right there at the bottom of the screen. Use your camera function on your phone. All right, I want to get right into your radar because I want to show you guys how this is going to play out in the next few hours. First off, nothing severe is taking place right now. All right, these are just general showers we're talking about, and they are passing right across the knobs at the moment, crossing Corden. Now looks like a very light rain moving in across the green belt all the way to about Floyd's Knobs in New Albany. Very light rain will likely hold all the way through the city of Louisville, so the roads will be a bit dampened downtown. I'll be out in the weather garden here in about 20 minutes or so. I'll let you know how hard it's coming down at that point. It should be real light. Meanwhile, a couple heavier downpours on the southern side of this. Central Kentucky been relatively untouched on some of the rain and thunderstorms. So you could get one or two that could contain some lightning, maybe some pea-sized hail, but nothing severe expected there. In Indiana, it's been quiet after a stormy day you had yesterday. Quiet now, same story, up 71. But we're still waiting to see how much of this back builds around St. Louis and moves in our direction. That's the reason why the severe risk is out right along 64 as they develop tonight. And they, just like a locomotive on the train tracks, will track right across Kentucky. Now, there will be some slight shifting to the south and east as they move along. So certainly if you're along and south of the Ohio River, your risk is a little higher than areas to the north. But it's a low and severe risk here, guys. It's a level 2 out of 5. We'll be monitoring this. And we are the only show in the lower 48. No other weather issues going on, just here into wave country when it comes to active weather and showers and storms. Gets our turn. It's been quiet for a while, right? Here's the entire 10-day. Notice the dry weather and the warm weather still at play as we enter October. It's just the next couple of days, a little bit on the dicey side, trying to track all these showers and storms. The first round moves on out. May see some strong storms in East Kentucky, but note the clock and look west. Here comes the next batch that will develop as we head into the mid to late evening hours and then drifting across Kentucky. These will be very heavy rain. Isolated cases of some severe weather here, but I think these are mainly just soaking downpours moving through with lightning and thunder. They'll begin to fade out toward sunrise there on Thursday. So right now I've highlighted the severe potential zone roughly when they first start to pop on the radar. There's that severe risk again, mainly along I-64, a county or two up or below that looks to be the case. And on Thursday, on the backside of the system, we could still get a brief shower after the first round of rain moves out of the state early in the morning. Another small shower may try to drop in across Indiana later in the afternoon, and then we're done. So as a grand total on rainfall from this event, could be impressive, 1 to 3 inches of rain. We need the rainfall. Again, if it falls too fast, though, that could lead to a few localized flooding issues. But nice soaking rain. We need roughly in this area of Kentucky about 4 inches to get us out of the drought. But this, no doubt, will help in a big way, Shannon.
All right, yeah, no kidding. Thank you. Sure. The Pentagon says a government shutdown will harm national security and force 1.3 million active duty troops to work without receiving pay. The Biden administration says a shutdown would also result in hundreds of civilian Department of Defense employees being furloughed. The Pentagon is urging Congress to avoid a shutdown and says it would result in a skeleton crew working at the Department of Defense, which would leave the U.S. at a military disadvantage with its rivals. The White House also argues it would harm recruiting. The Pentagon says they have virtually no options to help service members who do not receive paychecks.
This has incredible impacts for our national security, for our readiness, but most importantly for our military families who still have apartment bills to pay, rent, mortgages, childcare, schools for kids. These are all bills that you incur day to day.
96, the nays are
We are 4 days away from a government shutdown unless Congress can pass a government funding measure before that deadline. The White House is warning the federal government shutdown could also impact the resumption of student loan payments. Education experts say borrowers should still make payments. The length of a possible shutdown will determine the impacts on borrowers. Many historically colleges underfunded in Kentucky. More on what this means coming up.
And Wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth, fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
The path to business success is often unpredictable. Managing your bank account doesn't need to be. Find your flow with powerfully smooth banking that keeps you focused on bringing your vision to life. Wherever your company goes, Mercury is there with banking products like checking and savings accounts, debit and credit cards, wire transfers, and financing, all designed to scale with your company.
Mostly when people see me, it's after 2 hours of hair and makeup and a stylist. That's not real life. That's dress up. I have nothing against hair, makeup, but I don't want to have to need it to feel beautiful. Meaningful Beauty is different than a lot of skincare lines out on the market right now. You're going to get great ingredients for your skin, and then you can just go out and live your life.
Order now at meaningfulbeauty.com.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth, fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
And Wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth, fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
New numbers confirmed what Kentucky State University students suspected for years. The U.S. Education Secretary says Kentucky is one of 16 states that has systematically underfunded historically black colleges and universities for the past 30 years. That's a violation of federal law. Ricky Sayer has a major reason why the funding has been so low.
Kentucky State University students say when it comes to state funding, it's just not a fair fight.
We should get our money just like they get theirs.
Kentucky Center for Economic Policy Executive Director Jason Bailey says since 2017, a growing portion of state dollars to public colleges has been allocated on a performance-based model.
But what we've seen is that really shortchanges institutions like Kentucky State or Morehead State that tend to have lower income, lower wealth students.
He shared state data which shows under the model, the University of Kentucky received $33 million this year. Kentucky State University received nothing.
So it's just setting us up for failure. If you look at many different states that has that same model, of course the HBCUs is usually at the end of the totem pole and not getting proper funding.
According to the state website, goals of the performance-based model include retaining more students and closing achievement gaps by increasing degrees earned by low-income, minority, and underprepared students.
That shift to a performance formula is only exacerbating the inequity that the secretary has pointed out in this letter.
Kentucky State Senator David Givens supports the performance model.
KSU has been held harmless throughout that process.
He says they have positioned KSU to move forward with a significant amount of additional funding they provided over recent budgets.
By them staying in the performance model, the gains they make will draw down extra dollars for them.
Work has been done to make it right and to make it better.
The president of Kentucky State University says he also supports performance funding, but changes are possible.
As we speak, CP is working with all president and the legislature and the governor to find a better solution for KSU and Morehead states.
Bailey says Senator Givens was only pointing toward funding to address the recent fiscal crisis. He says the big question is how to address the issue in the long term. Still to come on Midday, another person has been arrested in the murder of a woman at Westport Village, what this man is accused of doing. And sports betting on the app start tomorrow morning in Kentucky. How much money could be bet, according to one app?
And watching Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth, fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
Friends have been telling friends about Colonial Penn Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance for more than 50 years, and with good reason. If you're between the age of 50 and 85, it's a sure thing. Your acceptance is guaranteed because full benefits are not paid in the first 2 years. And the price? Options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. With Colonial Penn, your rate is another sure thing. It will never increase. And you should know this coverage can last a lifetime.
Visit colonialpenn.com for free information and a free gift.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth, fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth, fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
With breaking news happening now, this is a Wave News Alert.
More now on this big story we are following today. The arrest of Brooks Houck in the disappearance of missing Bardstown mother Crystal Rogers. She disappeared 8 years ago, and this morning, her boyfriend at the time, Houck, was arrested. Bond set at $10 million cash. Wave News reporter Sean Bowdy is in Bardstown right now with more. Sean?
Yeah, Shannon, obviously for a long time, Brooks Houck has been the prime suspect in this case. We're in the area of Bardstown where we believe that he was arrested. For a long time, he was the only publicly named suspect. Of course, it was just a couple of weeks ago we learned of another arrest in the case, Joseph Lawson. And talking to people in Bardstown, obviously they pointed their fingers at Houck for a long time. Now we've got two different arrests in this case. Obviously, Brooks Houck now charged with murder, which is a huge advancement in this case. It's something that's really turned this town upside down for years, and just being here today, you can see just how many people are talking about what happened. We've got the video of Brooks Houck being arrested. You can see Wave obtained this video this morning showing Houck being taken into custody at his home here in this subdivision. There were only a few unmarked vehicles at the scene, according to court documents. He was indicted actually last week on charges of murder and tampering with physical evidence. You could see the mugshot that we just got within the last few minutes of Houck now in jail. It comes just a few weeks after that arrest of Joseph Lawson. Obviously, there's been a lot of hope over the years that an arrest would be made, whether it was Houck or whether it was someone else. Obviously, there's still a long legal process that's going to have to go through before any charges are finalized, or if he is actually convicted of these cases. Obviously, we're going to follow that all the way through. We're going to talk to some people in Bardstown, too, just to see kind of how they're feeling now, how they're feeling after an arrest was finally made. So many people told us for so long that, yeah, he's the guy. He's the one who did it. But we've also had people tell us, I don't think that is the guy. So it's going to be interesting to see moving forward exactly what happens in this particular case. I have a feeling we're a long way from being finished, but Wave News will be along for the ride along with you guys, and we'll get you that information as quickly and as accurately as possible moving forward. In Bardstown, Sean Bowdy, Wave News.
Thank you, Sean. And yes, Wave News has been covering this story now for over 8 years. We have several crews in Bardstown right now getting the very latest on today's major development. Expect team coverage right here on Wave throughout the day and into the evening hours, and we'll also give you updates on wave3.com and the app. Also, today is a Wave weather alert day. Here's the radar. Meteorologist Brian Good is looking over some new information right now. A few little scattered showers out there, but it's really this afternoon that our meteorologists are watching out for. So Brian will be back in about 10 minutes or so with the latest. And you can get the updates on the storms and other big stories throughout the day by downloading the Wave app and the Wave weather app as well. The 23-year-old who was arrested and charged after a chase with the Kentucky State Police that led to a child being killed is due back in court today. That chase started when a trooper tried to pull a man over on I-71 in Oldham County. Police say it was Timitrius Walder behind the wheel. It happened around 3 p.m. in the afternoon of September 16th. Police say they tried to stop him and he took off, and at one point he tried to exit Kentucky 329 and hit an SUV with 10-year-old Jake Luxemburger in the car. Jake was killed. He had been out shopping for his 11th birthday present with his grandmother when the car hit. She was also taken to the hospital. The GoFundMe set up for Jake's family is still taking donations. The page has raised over $65,000. We have a link to that GoFundMe on wave3.com. The man charged with attacking a Man in downtown Louisville last year has been sentenced. Andrew Hoke was sentenced to 1 year for assault under extreme emotional disturbance. It happened last October on West Broadway near the Brown Hotel. He's accused of using a hammer to hit Gary Thompson, who's been the subject of several of our Wave troubleshooter investigation. He is known as the bogus beggar. The judge ruled Hoke will be on probation for 3 years following his sentence. He must also continue to maintain participating in mental health treatment. Hoke's father was present in the courthouse this morning. He asked the judge to allow his son to be transferred to live with him in Bloomington, Indiana, following his sentence. The judge will allow Hoke to apply for a transfer that has yet to be approved by the court. 3 months after a woman was shot and killed by her ex-boyfriend in the parking lot of Westport Village, LMPD has announced the arrest of another person. Police say Zachary Hines shot and killed his ex-girlfriend, Ashley Yates, on June 30th. Hines killed himself soon after. Yesterday, police say they arrested James Booher Jr. He's accused of helping Hines carry out the crime. Arrest documents show 20 minutes before the murder, Booher sent Hines a message on Facebook telling him where to find Ashley. Video from the scene shows Booher skateboarding away from this scene after the murder. Prosecutors say a new filing by the lawyers representing a man accused of killing 2 teen girls in Delphi, Indiana, was made to generate clicks on social media. Richard Allen's lawyers filed paperwork last week saying their client had nothing to do with the murders of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German. Their bodies were found off a hiking trail in 2017, and these pictures of an apparent suspect were released. The filing said the killings were part of a white nationalist group ritual. Prosecutors called the claim a fanciful defense for social media to devour. Prosecutors also asked a judge reject a hearing to suppress evidence in the case. Some people in the Park Duval neighborhood are now petitioning to stop a new liquor store from opening in their area. Community leaders with the Park Duval Neighborhood Association hosted a meeting last night to spread awareness about the potential store. Activists say the new store would be on Wilson Avenue in the former BB&T Bank building. Some neighbors say they already have other liquor stores in the area, and they would rather see something the entire community could use.
We don't want that. If you're going to put something there, put something that's going to nourish the community, something like a job center.
Activists say they will eventually take that petition to state lawmakers. A new bill in Washington, D.C. looks to dismantle the new National Authority on Horse Racing Safety less than 2 years after it was fully created. The bill would get rid of the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act, or HISA, and replace it with a different horse racing oversight committee. The bill is supported by the North American Association of Racetrack Veterinarians and several horsemen's associations. They say HISA goes too far with anti-doping rules and other safety regulations. The president of HISA says it is sad and disappointing to see lawmakers try to put up roadblocks when they should be coming together to protect horses. HISA made several safety recommendations after an investigation at Churchill Downs where 12 horses died in a month during the spring meet, and then they moved that meet to Ellis Park. Online sports betting in Kentucky starts tomorrow, and those apps are getting ready to help make that transition to your phone. Online sports wagering will start tomorrow at 6 a.m. In-person wagering in Kentucky started back on September 7th. Representatives of the betting app FanDuel say they're excited about the launch of online betting.
Across the border, Ohio launched at the beginning of this year. In the first half of this year, Ohioans have bet over $4.1 billion on sports. When you take a look at horse racing in that same period, it's been about $5 billion in the entire country. This is a huge opportunity for Kentucky in the sports betting market.
18 is the legal age to place a sports bet in Kentucky. Using that FanDuel app, you have to be at least 21 years old. Coming up on Midday, well, September's almost over. That means the spooky season will be here soon, and Waverly Hills is getting ready for it.
And I am ready for it, that's for sure. Hey, it's a steady rain out here into the weather garden right now. No lightning, no thunder, but certainly is going to be a bit of a wet journey to your lunch destination here for this midday. We'll talk more about that and the radar trends coming up next.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, over $4.8 billion in grants and scholarships.
And Washington Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
And Washington Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
Waverly Hills will open its haunted house this Friday. Thousands of people visit the former tuberculosis sanatorium to experience suspected paranormal activity. It's in southern Louisville. It's open every Friday and Saturday through October. General admission for the haunted house is $25. Now they offer VIP tickets too. Those are $65. It includes a mini tour of the upper floors of the sanatorium. Can you believe it? It's the last Waterfront Wednesday of the year. It'll take place at the Big Four Lawn at Waterfront Park. Some of the groups performing tonight: Back to Mac, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac. Cheryl Rouse Band, Oh She's So Good, and the Sweet G and the Shine. The Big Four Lawn opens at 5. The music starts at 6. But could we see some rain? Meteorologist Brian Good is out in the weather garden right now to fill us in on that. And look, it's already coming down right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty steady rain. Welcome rainfall at the moment, but no lightning or thunder. Nothing severe, by the way, taking place. But you almost hear the begonias and the azaleas here behind me just kind of smiling at the moment, cheering with laughter with this kind of a rain setup here today. It's nice, gentle rain at that. More on that setup for Waterfront Wednesday here in just a second. Let me show you what it looks like in downtown Louisville. Kind of low clouds. Yep, certainly a wet drive. You're heading out to run some errands or heading to a doctor's appointment, perhaps heading to your lunch destination. It is certainly going to be a bit of a slow traffic scenario with the light rain. Now, the rain just started over at Ollie International, but I thought, might as well get an update and see if Puddle Ducky's got anything to report. Nope, nothing there. All right. Well, maybe it'll show up later. All right. Thanks. Appreciate that, Puddle Ducky. By the way, your bill is going to be in the bill. So check it out. All right, rain totals today should average, I would say, about 10 to 20, 2/10 of an inch of rain, somewhere around there. And it's nothing too heavy today, but tonight the rain chance and the amounts go way up. So the current showers we have in the area now, 40, 50%, depending on where you're at. We'll ease back this afternoon. That's at the start at Waterfront Wednesday. But as the stages are on this evening, the acts are up there and performing this evening, the rain chance will start to go up the further we go into the night. Hopefully we can fit the entire Waterfront Wednesday in with any major concerns with rain or lightning, but just keep it on that wave weather app just in case some develop a little faster than expected, which I can't rule out. All right, it's 70 degrees, muggy too, 70, a little bit more humid out. Obviously, it's raining outside, so you expect it to be a little bit more of a humid feel outside. We've got the radar lit up. Most of this is light rain, moving generally right across the core wave country from west to east. Here in Louisville, we've got the batch of a steady rain right over us, the dark green, of course, right over downtown Louisville all the way to about the Linview area. Eases up back into areas to say if you head south into Highview and Oklahoma, not as much heavy rain there showing up. This is not going to last very long. This is a quick little shot of wave, about another 10, 15 minutes, and it's gone. We do have some heavier pockets, though, across Breckenridge County into LaRue and trying to develop into Marion, Washington, as well as into Greene and Adair, even some lightning. Again, nothing severe being noted. We'll be watching those as they could move into a more environment for severe weather in eastern Kentucky later today. Meanwhile, for here in Louisville and for a lot of us watching across the I-64 corridor, we're going to be looking west across Illinois. That's where the next round will develop. It's got a few more hours to go before it really begins to fire. That will then move in during the night tonight. So that's when the worst of it will be, and that's when the severe threat will start to kick in. This is not a big severe weather type of scenario at play. This is more really a one that's right on the fence of really going to that level, but it only takes one storm to ruin your day, all right? So make sure you have your plans in place just in case you get alerts to come out for this evening. Storms will last throughout much of the overnight. Here's Futurecast showing they will linger into the overnight, into early on Thursday, and then we'll get the chance to slowly dry out as we into Thursday night, early Friday, maybe some fog around early on Friday. Rain totals depends on how these clusters of thunderstorms all evolve. The potential is there for at least 1 to 2, 3, maybe up to 4 inches in a couple of cases. So some of you can get quite a bit of rain out of this wave because of its slow-moving nature and its repeating idea. But looking ahead to the weekend and really for the first week of October, it's back to more of a summer feel again. As the West Coast gets more stormy with rain and mountain snow, for us, it's sunshine galore for the weekend. A lot of mid to upper 80s. Next rain chance after the one system we're going through now will happen at some point just beyond more than likely the 10-day. So, Shan, the wave weather alert day is intact in case we were to get some warnings for wind and hail. That is, again, still possible later on into the evening hours of the overnight. Make sure you have a way to get alerts just in case.
Important to have. All right, Brian, thanks. Coming up on Midday, hey, big news. Have you heard? Wawa is coming to Louisville. We'll tell you where the new stores will go and how soon they could open.
100,000 Kentuckians could lose access to health care if Daniel Cameron gets his way. Cameron's health care plan is a page from his buddy Matt Bevan's playbook. A threat to rural hospitals, a danger to Kentucky families.
And Wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel. Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
The wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel.
Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
Month. If you or someone you know is struggling or in a crisis, help is available. Dr. Stephen Taylor, Chief Medical Officer of Peace Hospital, spoke to us about how you can help someone by listening, being present. You can also call or text 988. According to the CDC, suicide rates increased about 36% between the year 2000 and 2021. Suicide was responsible for nearly 50,000 deaths in 2021. That equates to one death every 11 minutes. Dr. Taylor says be mindful of warning signs, including sudden shifts in behavior.
Well, just to open up the question and to open it up in a way that's not judgmental. You know, we can say what's wrong with you, and what's wrong with you can be taken a lot of ways depending on how we say it, you know. And I think if we can approach people in a non-judgmental way to open the floor for them to talk, we're more likely to get there than if we are defensive and judgmental. So I think the first thing for us is to not be afraid of it and not be afraid of the conversation and not to be afraid of the topic.
According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, although more women than men attempt suicide, men are 4 times more likely to die by suicide. We'll be right back.
Nursing and healthcare degrees are in demand more than ever to meet current job growth. Midway offers Central Kentucky's most affordable tuition rates, and our accelerated program puts your degree within reach. Apply at midway.edu. With more than 20 career-focused degree choices and the most affordable tuition rates in Central Kentucky, Midway University puts your degree within reach. Save time, save money, advance your career. Apply today at midway.edu.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth.
And the wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel.
Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started. And nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living. But Kentucky knows the truth.
Nursing and healthcare degrees are in demand more than ever to meet current job growth. Midway offers Central Kentucky's most affordable tuition rates, and our accelerated program puts your degree within reach. Apply at midway.edu. With more than 20 career-focused degree choices and the most affordable tuition rates in Central Kentucky, Midway University puts your degree within reach. Save time, save money, advance your career. Apply today at midway.edu.
That Louder Than Life Music Festival set records. The Hard Rock Festival drew 180,000 music fans over the 4-day weekend. Organizers are making plans already for next year. Louder Than Life for 2024 is scheduled for September 26th through the 29th, and the early passes go on sale this Friday. A Northeastern convenience store and gas station chain is expanding to Louisville and surrounding areas. Wawa plans to build 7 more stores. 4 will be in Louisville, some on major roads like Bardstown, Taylorsville, Preston, and Outer Loop, and they'll have locations too in Clarksville, Oldham County, and Mount Washington. The chain is a gas station. It also focuses on fresh made-to-order food like sandwiches, pizza, and smoothies. The president of the company says each store will bring about 40 new jobs, and the first Wawa here is expected to open sometime in 2025. It is a Wave Weather Alert Day, so anytime you need that forecast, you can tune into the Wave Weather Now. It's our 24/7 digital weather stream. You can find it on wave3.com, the Wave 3 app on your phone, Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. Just go to Watch Live. Look for Wave Weather Now.
The wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel.
Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
Nursing and healthcare degrees are in demand more than ever to meet current job growth. Midway offers Central Kentucky's most affordable tuition rates, and our accelerated program puts your degree within reach. Apply at midway.edu. With more than 20 career-focused degree choices and the most affordable tuition rates in Central Kentucky, Midway University puts your degree within reach. Save time, save money, advance your career. Apply today at midway.edu.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth. We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.
The wash in Moscow always get the mule. Vodka this good is an American jewel.
Wheatley is so good, I drink it neatly.
We already know Andy Bashir is lying about sex change surgery for kids. But what else is he lying about? On jobs, Bashir claims record growth. The truth? Fewer Kentuckians are working today than when Bashir started, and nearly 1 million Kentuckians are living in poverty. On crime, Bashir pushed false reports, omitting 100 murders in Louisville alone. Career politicians like Bashir and Biden lie for a living, but Kentucky knows the truth.